how can you improve your MMA growth? MMA. How can you make it faster, right? So, there's four ways we're going to talk about, right? And the first way, right, is isolated training. So, isolated training, right? For example, what this means is that, say if you have your MMA game, right? You have like a game. When you spar in MMA, there's like a way you fight, right? Out of that, what is the weakest part of your game? Is it like, for example, the boxing, kickboxing, the wrestling, or the jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, BJJ, right? Out of those, what's your worst one? So, for example, say if maybe your worst is probably boxing, okay, so you can do all these decently, but your boxing's probably like the biggest constraint. So in that case, say if like your level in this is here, your level in this is probably about like that when kickboxing is alright, your kicks and stuff they're alright. The wrestling is okay. Your jiu-jitsu is actually really good, but your boxing isn't quite there. You're like your hands aren't really that good. So what you could do is have like on a timeline you could for one period of time you could just train boxing maybe for just 3 months. This say if this is like a year's course, this would be 3 months boxing. Then maybe after a while you'd get this quite a high level to where in that case you could train, for example, your kickboxing instead, or maybe your wrestling even, because that's working. So okay, next 3 months you just work on your wrestling, and then that improves as well, like a lot faster. And then, for example, next 3 months you do kickboxing, so that improves as well. And then you get your jiu-jitsu, and the last 3 months you do jiu-jitsu. And that way, you actually improve faster, more at that one single constraint, instead of just training everything at once and just really slowly just improving at them slowly. If you just go all out in your jiu-jitsu, you will skyrocket your progress through. So, what does this mean? This means, right, you actually should probably periodize. If you're not fighting currently in MMA, you probably should periodize different parts of like the year to different aspects of your game improving, and you could write it down and stuff, right? So yeah, that's one thing to keep in mind, right? Also, mm, you have to like maintain the skill in like a different one. Say if you're just working on your jiu-jitsu, right? You would actually lose skill in boxing, kickboxing, wrestling if you didn't train any of those and you just went like 6 days a week just jiu-jitsu, right? So you'd have to train. I'd say train one striking session a week, one X striking, and then maybe one MMA session, and the rest of the sessions do just jiu-jitsu. You'll improve a lot faster at jiu-jitsu, and you'd also maintain or even possibly grow your skill in the other two, right? So that's the first thing to keep in mind. Number two, it's number two, right? To improve your skill. Number two is you have to think about it consistently, right? Say if you have like maybe like 100, okay, let's say 10,000 thoughts in a day, right? You have to be like you have to make sure like at least like 75% of of those 1,000 thoughts are just about jujitsu, about not jujitsu, but like about like MMA. You have to make sure like you are thinking about it every single day, like even when you're at home and stuff. You have to be constantly thinking about this. You can't like most people, right? Their brains are like diverted into many different areas and stuff. If you just like what's the word, like focus most of your attention just on MMA, you'll actually improve a lot faster. You have to almost be like autistic about it. You have to just be like thinking about it consistently. Like this is like the only thing on your head. This is the only thing in your life. Like that's how you like develop, like grow a lot faster, right? Like for example, like you could like if you when you're thinking about it consistently, you're almost like an autistic little kid who's just like shadowboxing all the time, right? And that was me back in the day as well. I would always just shadowbox just every single where I went. Like everyone just called me like a shadowboxer type of guy, because that's who I was. I was so obsessed with like the sport. I was obsessed with like trying to improve. I was obsessed. I was learning these new combinations, and like you know what I mean. You have to be obsessed with it if you want to get better at it. And that brings me on to the next one, is that you have to also being obsessed with it. You have to also study at home. Like you have to do your homework. So I can't spell study, right? So this could be instructionals. So instructionals. This is you could buy some online like jiu-jitsu instructionals and watch it, or personally you could just watch on YouTube and stuff, right? There's a lot of videos online about like different instructionals and using them to improve. Also, there's fight footage, so you could watch like different fighters fight. Like for example, you could watch like MMA fights and stuff, and try watch in slow motion and mute the commentary as well to also like improve, like to because commentary is just kind of bullshit in it. Next thing is also books as well. So there's a book I like. It's called Jiu-Jitsu University, and it goes over like quite all of like the fundamentals of jiu-jitsu, and I recommend reading that book thoroughly all the way through if you want to improve your grappling, right? So I'd recommend 60 to 90 minutes a day, right? Because sorry, no, not 60, 30 to 90 minutes a day. This much training would actually help you get to that next level. Not training, fucking, this much studying would actually help you, like, to improve, to get to the next level, right? And the last thing, right, is that if you have like a little brother or something, you could actually practice some of these moves just with like a training partner. I just used like my little brother and everything, and could you training partner? Yeah, just whatever. And then last thing I was going to talk about is recovery off the mats. So there's really three essential tasks that are important for a fighter, right? It's your training, your sleeping, and your diet. Everything else, if what you're doing in the day is not one of these three things, it's probably useless, because these are the only like essential tasks you need. You don't need to do like any other like things in the day apart from these three main things. So I'd recommend get at least like 9 hours of sleep if you want to like be a full-time fighter, because you should be training quite a lot, to be honest. But also what's important is you have to sleep at the exact same time every single day. That's what most people don't get. You can't like have a day where you wake up 7 o'clock, and then one day, random day, you wake up at like 9 o'clock or something, because that's just like really bad for you. You need to have like a consistent wake up time and consistent sleep time if you want to have good sleep. And the other thing is diet as well. So obviously, like, you need to be eating like good foods, like protein. You've probably heard it like 1,000 times, but there's a reason why you've heard it 1,000 times. It's really important. A lot of protein, a lot of carbohydrates. Some people cut off carbs. Don't cut off carbs. You need a lot of carbs as a fighter. And your fats, I'd also say have a decent amount of fats as well. It's good for your testosterone and everything. But yeah, this is just like my quick breakdown. Yeah, tell me if you like this style of videos where I do it on paint and stuff, because this is like my first time trying it out, so let me know. Anyways,